How far are you willing to go? The drive, the sweat, the blood, the tears, your determination through the pain and all the suffering, people overlooking you, telling you that you're not good enough. You have to believe that you're great. And with you believing that you're great, anything you want to do, you can achieve. No one can stop you. Only you can stop yourself. Keep driving. Keep uplifting yourself. Keep going. Keep going. Nothing, and no one can stop you. That goal you want, you can achieve it. How you inspire people is going to be up to you. Keep going. Never give up. Never give up. Keep going. Never give up.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Ikon. And we here on 910 Sports TV once again. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on this great platform, to have my peoples with me, to do our thing once again. So I'm going to introduce my peoples from my right to my left, from top to bottom. I got my man, the greatest coach ever made, that God ever made, Lamont T. Goins. What's going on, fam?
Hey man, you know it is just another day, and again, just so happy to be with everybody. And good evening, Coach and Jacob the Great and Iconic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So down at the bottom, I got my man, right hand man. We've been rocking and rolling for 6 years now. You know what I'm saying? Making this thing happen. Shoot, I think we probably around the anniversary. I think maybe about a month or two away from the anniversary of 910 Sports. But we've been doing this thing for 6 years. So, you know what I mean? Your baby mama's favorite host, Jacob the Great. What's going on, fam?
What's up, man? What's up, fam? What's up, man? Glad to be in the land of the living, man, and so glad to be here to chop it up with you, great gentlemen, and this queen here. So, man, let's get into it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So go ahead and introduce this young lady so we can get this interview started.
Oh man, this is none other than Coach Lashonda Chiles, Greenwood High School, Greenwood, South Carolina, the Lady Eagles. Welcome, welcome. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much, guys. I am blessed to be here in the presence of greatness. I'm just excited to be on with you guys this evening.
Okay, okay. So, before we get into your story and your journey as a coach, uh, a lot of people want to know who is Coach Chiles.
Coach Childs is just a humble young lady who grew up in Greenwood, South Carolina. I grew to love for the sport of basketball at the age of 6 years old. And from there, it just sparked an excitement to learn the game, to become a student of the game. And just watching that 90s Bulls team with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, all of those guys, just seeing them play was magical to me. And so I just really wanted to go to college. I thought that was my ticket to go to college. I know right off my parents didn't have the opportunity, probably wasn't going to be able to afford the whole cost of me going to college. So my goal as a young child was like, once I knew I could do that, was to get better and better. And, God opened up some doors for me. I played in college. I started out at Anderson, and then I transferred to Lander University. Coach Pedersen at Coastal Carolina and Coach Greg, who's the head coach of the men's team at Greenwood, they recruited me out of high school. And it's so important for young players to understand they didn't necessarily come to see me play. They didn't know who Lashonda Childs was. They came to see another player play. And so by me going out there playing hard, playing with passion, they were able to spot me out there. And so, just because those coaches aren't calling you or knocking at your door, always play because you never know who's watching. And so that kind of opened up my career in college, opened up the opportunity for me to coach at Greenwood High School. And I'm just so blessed to be here. It's just a part of God's plan. Who knows how long I'll be here at Greenwood High School coaching, but I'm just enjoying the ride.
Okay, okay, okay. So we talk about the love for the game. You're a student of the game. and there's so much education inside the game. So when you educate your players, from that standpoint, what does that look like for you as an instructor? Not a coach, but as an instructor of the game of basketball.
Well, for me, a coach that just really loved the game, it's a challenge because I gotta understand at the high school level, every player don't take the approach of wanting to go to college to play. And so for me, I have to try to figure out that balance with the dynamics of my players. I have to be in between. So I have to be here to elevate the players that want to play and college and further on. And then I have to be able to reach the players that are role players that may not necessarily want to further their career later on, and be able to make it fun and enjoyable for everyone, but also an experience where they can grow if they do want to reach that next level.
Okay. And so, being a high school coach and dealing with the players and dealing with the parents, there has to be some balance there, and sometimes the parents don't make the balance that easy. So with that being said, a player could really understand because y'all have built that rapport, that relationship. But if the parents don't push the players like the coach push the players, then there's a balance that's really not meeting where you want to meet it in the middle. And so, how do you deal with that? As a coach, a mentor, and as a pastor, and everything else.
Right. We do as coaches wear a lot of hats, and especially I'm a classroom teacher as well. And so with that, dealing with the parents, I feel like going through PACE to become an educator helped me understand how to navigate that with parents and how to negotiate and try to be in partnership. It's a coach out of Texas that said that we are in partnership. So they got to understand that we want the best for their kids as well. And so just reaching those parents and building those relationships are going to be important. But at the same time, understanding that you are the coach and you are in control. Like you're there to listen to what they have to say to better help their child. But the parents got to understand they're looking at one dynamic of coaching. They're looking at their child. They're looking at what we can do for their child. But as a coach, we got to look at the overall program, what we can do for each individual child's challenge and maximize the success for each individual child and player. And so they don't necessarily understand that. And so we have to kind of continue to stay balanced because we don't have one particular goal for, just we don't have a hidden agenda. For any one child, for my program, I want all of my kids to be successful as they can be. And so that's going to look different for each child because everybody got different gifts. Everybody brings something different to the table. And so that is what I try to do when I try to build those relationships with the parents, to get them to understand I want what's best, but I have to look at the whole picture. They're just looking at one piece to the puzzle.
Okay, so I've been knowing you for a while, and you restructured and you rebranded the the basketball program at Greenwood when you took over as head coach. And so, with you restructuring and rebranding the basketball program, how hard was it for you to reach the athletic department, and how hard was it for the athletic department to reach the superintendent education as far as what the program needs to be rebuilt for the student athletes? Because a lot of times they don't look at programs as a coach would look at the program. You know what I mean? And they don't understand what goes on inside the program. You know, the mentorship. Um, them having a good rapport with their teachers, and you're following up to see what they're doing in the classroom. So that's a whole lot outside of coaching basketball. And so, how did you create that balance to really be? Because I seen you rebuild the program. I seen them uh, just go to the upper state championship and win the upper state championship this year. But I remember what the program was when you took over, and you did an excellent job with that. So how did you do that and reach the people that you need to reach to help you do that?
I will say that the principal at our high school is Benjamin was great with the support. My athletic director, Michael Sparky Hudson, just they kind of gave me an open door and the green light to kind of build that program, because they knew it was going to take some time. They knew later on we were going to get some talent in there. And so that is what you really need. You need that support from your other levels, from your athletic director, from your principals, to trust that you are going to build it the right way. Because, some high school coaches were recruiting on the backside, but you cannot do that. And so you got to trust the process as well. As a young coach, I had to really dig deep. When I first started, we lost some players, some D1 players, to our local high school, Emerald High School. And so, that can be frustrating when you're really trying to build a program in the right way. And you got to build that trust with the community as well. The parents got to see that you're building a program, you care about their kids first and foremost, and you're not just doing it to get shine yourself. You're not just doing it to get the accolades and the wins, but you're not only wanting to push your kids academically, but also athletically. And so I feel over time, I was able to do that at Greenwood, build that relationship with the parents. They see that we're trying to build it the right way, that I do put the student athletes first. And then by doing that, we wasn't necessarily getting the wins, but I was able to get some transfers, and that's Danielle Oliver and Cameron Oliver. And we had Ty Johnson, and we were able to build that core around those three players. I hate Ariana Warlaw. She kind of missed that window with this program, but she still comes support that program. But I hate we wasn't able to do it with that particular player, because these players right now are standing on her shoulders. She was really dedicated. She stayed true. She could have transferred, but she stayed here with our program to help me get the start of this program in the right direction. So, I couldn't be more proud of our players. Like I said, Danielle Oliver, Cameron Oliver, Ty Johnson. Kudos to Ty Johnson. We went to South Carolina Live yesterday and today, and she got an offer from Voorhees University. And so, we're just trying to plug along. We're trying to build around those three core players, and they were able to help us become upper state champions by putting in the work, and also state runner-ups.
Okay. Appreciate that. Coach Goins?
Well, listen, I'm excited. I'm excited, Coach Charles. Again, it's an honor and privilege. Anytime me personally get to talk to a younger coach, and as I was sitting here just taking it all in. One of the things that really resonated in my mind when you said that you're a student of the game. And again, congratulations on a successful season. Congratulations on rebuilding the program. You're, and I'm going to go ahead and say this: you are destined for greatness, because everything that you said, right, is just ringing bells in my ears, because I've been around the game all my life. And I know I'm much older than you are, but the things that you saying and the groundwork that you're putting in, you're in the class, you're in the school. They see you, away from the court. They see you in a different light, because you're just not showing up in the gym. They see you in the classroom, and they see you on the court. So here's my question: when you mentioned student of the game, give our viewing audience a little insight on what that means from a coach.
As a coach, I'm constantly looking for various drills that can carry over into the game. I try to keep up with the top coaches, with my subscription, so I can see some of the things that are, popular at these moments in time, because it's different offenses that you can try. I know horns are popular now. They wasn't as popular when I played. And so just really trying to learn, whether it's drills, whether it's the mindset strategies, just listening to other coaches, and not only coaches of basketball, just coaches of other sports as well, because you understand how they break it down to reach their players. And so you got to be able to reach them I know as the generations change, this generation is a lot different from my generation, and I'm sure from your generation where you were coming up, and even the coaching styles have to be different. The coaching styles that sparked us are not going to spark this generation of kids. Like you, we want you to get fired up. We want you to fuss at us and coach us hard. Well, I did because I wanted to get better. I knew it was all in love. But these kids these days, you yell at them, your feelings hurt, or you correct them, constructive criticism, and they take it the wrong way, or you say something and they misconstrue what you said. Like everybody in the same room, and one person get one message and the other person get another message. And so really just trying to cater to all the personalities of the game, and trying to figure out how you can coach. Some players you can coach hard. Some players you're going to have to pull to the side and discuss, some things that they need to correct, because you want to keep them motivated to maximize their abilities, because you don't want to start early and then now it's a tug of war. They're mad because they taking what you're saying the wrong way, or this coach don't like me. No, I love all my players. I want them all to be successful. But we understand that everybody at the high school level is not going to be able to average 25 points a game. And we got to understand our roles, and they got to understand their roles as well, and bring it all together collectively as a program.
You know what? That's that, and that's what. See, guys. First of all, let me go to Jacob. Excellent, man. You know what? This is what this show is about, and I appreciate Coach Chiles taking us in there. But then, and folks, I'm gonna challenge everybody that's near Greenwood High School. You've got to back Coach Chiles, because she's dropping dimes. She's telling all of the listening folks that what student athletes need today and how to be able to reach that generation. So again, tremendous job. So here's my last question before I kick it over to Ikon E. High school girls and women's college basketball is at an all-time high, right? What do you think is the driving force and the excitement that has caused I'm just gonna say the electricity to be back in the gym on the women's side?
I think it's the way that the girls' game play. They bring more dynamic to the game. They bring more excitement, because now a lot of times in college, for men and in the NBA as well, a lot of them are just shooting the ball from deep. And the girls are really just getting after it. They're executing. Like, look at Ikon in that championship game. And even that first time when they played USC, Dunn Staley, my girl, I love USC Gamecocks, but man, I'm like, they are playing some tremendous basketball. They were executing. They were making the right reads. And they just made it just a fun sight to see. And if you love the game of basketball, you like, oh my God, how do you stop it? They were scoring inside out, mid-range. And they were letting it fly. And that's from skill. If you know the game of basketball, you like, oh, look at that footwork. Look at that screen. Look at that screen and roll action. Oh my goodness, look at the finish. Oh, they just pulling, like they pulling without thinking. And when they can play at the speed they were playing, and just like making the right reads, shooting threes, scoring on every level, it really shows that the girls' game has really developed. And just even Caitlin Clark, just the way she brings it, they're shooting, like women are shooting the ball from deep as well. And so like a lot of people are wanting to see the women succeed. They've been wanting to see the women succeed, but now we got generational talents. Like look at for Wiley. I hate that she's transferred, but look at that player, like the things that she can do with the basketball. I know she's going to have to develop some more at other levels of the game, but anybody that got a high engine can get you 10 points, just like 8 to 10 points, probably in a 3-minute span. She has that capability. And so just being able to do that, and women taking the game more seriously has really helped the women's game.
Well, you know what? You great job. And again, I'm excited. And I tell you what, I just appreciate you being with us tonight. Connie, man, what you got for us?
Well, first before I get into questions, I want to say all the stuff that you said, Coach Charles, is correct. And the crazy part, I'm thinking about this now, watching the series, the NBA Finals, and what people not really recognizing is Oklahoma City is not a 3-point shooting team. If you noticed last night, they only took maybe about 20 to 25 3-pointers. And that's like that's probably very low when you consider where the NBA is now, where most teams are jacking up 40 to 53s a game. Maybe even more, like Boston jacking up 60 and 70. So, and they're in the NBA Finals because they're using the pick and roll. They're taking mid-range jump shots. They're driving to the basket. Their players. They're cutting to the basket. So they're kind of, and then people are like, oh, this is boring basketball. No, it's basketball. It is pure form. You know what I mean? How basketball's supposed to be played, not to coming down and jacking up threes and you on a 3-on-1 break and your guy going to the wing instead of going and get an easy layup. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So to me, it's refreshing to watch, a Shea take a mid-range jumper versus him and Jay Williams instead of jacking up threes all game long. So it's refreshing to see. So anyway, Coach, I want to say kudos to you because of the fact that a lot of coaches would not admit that they study other coaches. Most coaches will say, this is how I do things. We play basketball the way I see fit, whether it's slow, whether it's half court, whether it's speed, pace, or whatever it is. But you're saying, oh, no, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to adjust. And I think the great coaches in this era are the ones that's going to succeed, because if you notice, and no offense to those because they're the greatest of all time, but the Coach K's, the Roy Williams, the Jim Boeheims, they pretty much bowed out because, one, they like, oh, well, we don't want to conform to the new style of play and all this other stuff. And so a lot of them, like even Jim Boeheim, basically said, well, my zone is not going to work anymore in this era, so I think it's time for me to bow out. Well, why you can't just change your style? Why you got to retire because you feel like your style not going to work? So basically, where do you get that, I guess, mindset of saying, I'm not afraid to learn and do things different?
Well, I've been that way. When I was young, growing up, 11 years old, my parents got me a membership at the YMCA in Greenwood. And so I used to watch the men play, and I would play too. They wouldn't pick me up, but I could get right and I could pick my own team. And so I was a student of the game. And even if y'all kept up with Greenwood men's basketball back in around 99 when Brandon Freeman missed the basketball to, I want to say 2001, 2002, they went to state that year and they had some phenomenal players. I believe any set of 5 that he would have put out there could have started for any other team. And I just used to plug away and look at different things, and I would take away different things from different players. Like Ronaldo Norman, Josh Norman brother. He was a phenomenal basketball player. He used to have us like one pull up. He have a 1 or 2 dribble pull up. He'll catch the ball on the wing and jab step and do a one dribble, 1-2 step and pull up. And I used to just watch his shot and practice it. He used to be at the Y playing, just watching Brandon Freeman, the way that he could shoot the ball. I mean, he one of the best shooters that I ever seen. And so even the point guards from Mark Williams to Otis Daniels to Shannon Miller, like all of those players, you could take away certain things from their game. And that's what I did. I always been that way. Just watching Michael Jordan, the way he can change the game. He, as great as he was offensively, he was great defensively as well. And so not being afraid to try different things and see what can work for you, and just understanding you can add those things to your toolbox. Like, you don't have to be afraid. Practice it and practice it. That's what practice for. Get in the gym, get up shots, learn new plays, new moves, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. And that's what I did. I would watch those different players. And what it's a guy that was a coach and referee, and he told me, he said, if you lock down your mid-range game, he said most players don't. They either in the layup or the 3-point line. But he said as a point guard, you lock down that mid-range and you will be a great player. And that's what I took heed to what he said. Now, everything that people tell you, you may not understand it in that particular season, but you live a little and it may resonate a little bit later. And that's what I did. Just continue to be a student of the game. Never think you can't take advice from someone, because what it may not make sense to you or make it help you right now, but just continue living. It's gonna make more sense later on. And so that's why I'm a student of the game, because I'm living proof of that through basketball, through life. And so I'm always gonna listen. I'm always gonna take that knowledge and put it in my toolbox. And when it's time to use it, then go forward, push forward with that information and that knowledge and those skills.
Okay, I got one more question. I'm gonna shoot it over to Jacob. So I was watching Penny Hardaway on an interview a few weeks back, and he was talking about the challenge of the new age because of the NIL and the transfer portal. And he said the thing about now in practice, that a lot of the players, the star players, they only going to go but so hard, because they already know, oh, I'm going to the NBA anyway, whatever. So I'm not going to push myself to be better. And of course, in the ones, certain ones, if they, like you said, if they're not getting playing time or whatever, they end up transferring, whatever, instead of fighting for a position, fight for a spot. So how hard is it now? And then even like he was even saying, educational wise, some students, the ones that know, okay, I'm just here because I got a 4-year ride, so I'm just going to do enough to keep my scholarship, or whatever. I'm not going to really go that hard. So how challenging is it for you to push your players when they have maybe ulterior motives?
Right. It's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, because me, I got a love for the game, and I understand, like, anything that you do, you need to give it your all. If you're there, you need to give it your all. And I'm a living proof of that in college. Like, I didn't go to college and think I was just gonna be this superstar athlete and play. I put my head down. I worked hard. I listened. I was coachable, and by working hard, having that coachable mentality, I was able to start from day one as a freshman. And that's it's tough to do. I don't care what level you at, because you got veteran players that's been there 2 years, 4 years, coming from JUCO and all of that. But you cannot worry about the result. You have to trust the process. And I think with that, these student athletes have got to understand these coaches are paying you. So now this is like a job. You need to give it your all. You need to lock in, and you need to perform. Because if you're holding back anything, that's like in life, you're not going to get your best results. You got to push. You got to get in the peak shape and start peaking. And I feel like you'll have maximum success. And like I said, the coach that I played for, Coach Kevin Patterson, he was a firm believer in getting us in shape. And so he didn't play. We were going up and down on 5 and 60s. I told him that's down and one back, down and one, down and back one, down and back two, all the way to length of the court in 60 seconds. And so when I started coaching, I was going to the practices, and I see 65 seconds on the clock. I'm like, Coach, you getting soft. Like, you giving them 5 extra seconds, and we were doing it in 60 seconds. And so it's like, when you understand, when you're in your best shape, when you're in your best mental aspect and understanding the game slows down. And so you cannot get to that point if you don't give it your all, if you don't lock in. I just don't foresee them continuing to sustain that success.
All right, go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I want to piggyback off what you said about Connecticut. I was reading something today, and they said that freshman of last year, Sarah Strong, is the new Maya Moore. So what do you think about that?
Maya Moore, man, that's my girl. That's my girl. So that's tough. She must gotta be. I haven't seen the player that you're talking about play yet, but Maya Moore is my girl. I actually got a chance to see her in the WNBA. One of my few games that I have gotten to see them play live. It's been many, many years ago, but Maya Moore, she was tough. She was tough. She was a dynamic player, dynamic finisher. She could score it on every level. And so if she is half the player of Maya Moore, I feel like she's going to be a phenomenal asset to that program.
Well, I'll give you who she is. She was the freshman on the championship team last year that averaged 29 and 7 all through the playoff run.
Tell me that name. That's that post player?
That's her.
Okay. Yeah. She got a nice game. She definitely got a nice game. You know, I don't a lot of post players don't get that accolades like they should, I think, in the women's game. But Aja Wilson, she's definitely getting her flowers right now. I'm excited about her getting her shoe deal and all of that. But I'm excited to see what that player does. But she definitely showed up and showed out in that championship game. Yes.
Okay. So now when it comes to you, now the rest of the fellas don't know you. I know you. Mm-hmm. I know you was a hooper. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people in your area. I know you was a hooper, and I know some hoopers that say you was a hooper. So how about that? So when it comes to you and teaching those fundamentals to the girls that play for you on the basketball team, do you ever get out there on the court and just give them a little taste?
I haven't gotten out there as much as I want to. I'll do a little, preview for them, but I hit 40 years old, so I ain't trying to do too much because like 2 years ago, I got out there and I'm running just dummy defense, and a player jumped on top of my leg, and I'm like, oh no, I can't take these licks anymore. I thought I was injured. So, my assistant coach, Coach Cedric Loudon, he was like, Coach, we got to get in shape because we got to show these girls. They think they can play, but we got to really show them how the game's supposed to be played. And so, this year I might get out there and show them a little bit more because we're at an elite level where they got to be able to finish at in the backcourt and be able to do a lot of different other things there. And I we've been talking, and I'm like, my guards, they got to understand, be unpredictable. You small, learn to finish off those 2 feet. I emphasize that, and then just understanding how to calculate the defensive player, because a lot of times, we was talking today after we played, me and my assistant coach, I'm like, players got to understand the strategy of the game. In that transition, when you going down and you playing a somewhat decent defensive player, a lot of times you just got to go in and kind of give your body to get a foul. Because what happens when they get that first foul, they can't play as aggressive. And so just understanding that, get to the free throw line, get them in foul trouble, and then continue to push. But we get timid. And what, a dog can smell blood, right? They smell that fear and they're going to eat you alive. So you have to be confident in that open court. And so that's one thing that I know we're going to have to get out there and try to show them a little bit more on what they need to do as far as how to use their body to protect the ball and also protect their shooting hand, and then just that mental mindset and strategy of the game. Because I was never the tallest person on the court, never the quickest person, probably never the smartest, but I knew what I could do, and I had that mental aspect that you was not gonna outwork me. And if we kept playing, you might get yours, but I'm coming back to get you too. And so that's what they got to understand. Don't give up easily. Continue to persevere. And it can work out if you put in that work.
Right. So the reason why I asked you that, because my homeboy sent me a clip of his son playing ball. Mm-hmm. I said, boy, your son don't move his feet, boy. Your son got feet like a boat paddle that's parked on the dock. Like, man, he don't move his feet at all, man. Like, but if he don't move his feet, man, somebody gonna break his ankle. So a lot of times,
Absolutely.
man, when you, I say his feet gotta get faster. I say, man, have your son to do about 100 jump ropes a day, man, and his speed gonna increase tremendously. You know what I mean? The reason I know because playing offensive lineman, that's what we had to do. You know what I mean? Because you gotta have them quick feet because the way them defensive tackles and them no guards come off that line, and some of them be strong, fast, and have plenty of agility. So you know, I was just telling. So when you said saying that it's a lot of techniques that the players don't know that you and your coaches would know. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I asked you, did you get out there? And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so what you 40, but I know some 40 years old that play in these leagues. It's a white
Yep.
guy I know
They do.
that's 40 years old, and his nickname is Money because I don't care what he shooting from, he's going in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but coach, back to you, man. Coach, going.
Uh, hey, listen, just like I said, I'm sitting here, my mind's rolling around, and if I wasn't 50, if I wasn't 58, I'd be putting my sneakers on and grabbing my whistle and see if I could get up and could go downhill. But Coach Childs, tell our folks, what do you do to recharge your batters? The season's over with, the whistle's hanging up, you close the scorebook, you're not looking at the stat sheet. What do you do? And again, not just for listening, or for the coaches that may be listening, what do you do to kind of get away from the game and stay sharp and renew your mind?
Right. I try to just like my players take a month off and not do anything about basketball, not thinking about basketball. If you can get away on a vacation, if you got some vacation time, try to do that. And just get in the gym more. You have more time. That's what I'm trying to do over summer, get in the gym more, work out and those things, and then regroup. You can regroup, refresh, and then start getting back to trying to figure out what offensive schemes can work for the team and players that you're going to have coming in, and then also the defensive strategies, the types of press that you want to run and things like that. And so in high school, with us being year round, I don't have a super long time to get a break, but when I can get a break, that's what I'm doing. Maybe a weekend getaway until July. Then that's when I'll really be able to go on vacation because we're in open season right now. And so, but getting away, step away from it, relax, and then again, that's when you can step in with a clear mind, clear mindset to be able to figure out what you can do. And like you guys said earlier, be willing to adjust with your team. You cannot play the same way every year because you're going to have different athletes with different capabilities. And so sometimes you're going to be quick, sometimes you're going to be slow, sometimes you're going to be tall, sometimes you're going to be not so tall or short. And so just really willing to be a student of the game, being willing to adapt and adjust. And I feel like that really helps me looking forward, because always being challenged. How can I help this particular team be successful? And always just pushing yourself. Set goals for yourself, for your team, for your players, and try to notch those off and come up with a strategy to reach those. And so that's how I try to reset for each and every season.
Wow, and I'm telling you, y'all don't understand it. She's laying this down, man. My mind is just taking me back, and I'm hearing this, and that's why I know Coach Childs is just destined for greatness. It's just because you are laying and the reason why I'm telling you this, because I'm almost 20 years older than you are. I've been out of the game, back in the game, and you are laying it down for us tonight, and it's definitely 100%. It's just a pleasure to sit here and just hear you chop it up. So I see Ikon, he's back behind that 3-point line when he waving. So let me kick it over to him.
So I do want to say this though. I do feel like high school basketball is probably high school sport is very hard. It's harder and more challenging than like college basketball. And the reason why I say that is because, like you just said, every year or every couple of years, you have to recruit what you have. You know what I mean? So whoever comes in from middle school or whatever, you got to recruit what you have and get them on the team. And sometimes you might get a slower team, a faster team, or whatever. Because in college, you can pretty much go out and say, you know what? Let me go look at this play over here, this play over here. They fit my style, my scheme. They're a 3-point shooter. They're a big man. They're this, they're that. You know what I'm saying? And I do commend you because you understood, like, every year it's gonna be different. So I better learn different styles of how to run my offense and my defense, because every year I might not have that shooter. Every year I might not get the big man or the defensive player of the year type person. So I better learn certain things. So I feel like when you finally do get that opportunity to go to college or on a college level to coach, if that's your goal in life, then you'll be very well equipped for it because you already been working with that mindset of how to. And then once you go there, you already gonna know, okay, this all the styles I played with, this is the one style that I love the most. Let me go recruit that. You know what I mean? And kind of work
Good
around
call.
that. So I do give. So I want to ask you one last question before we get out of here. So me and my brother Jacob talk about this all the time. We talked about, because I'm more of a casual WNBA college women's basketball fan. He is a diehard. So I told him, I said, well, the thing with Caitlin Clark, because he gets upset, and a lot of people do, because Caitlin Clark was the one who kind of put WNBA on the map, like on a global scale, sort of like a Magic and a Bird. You know what I'm saying? Because I always make this analogy that Angela Reese is Bird and Caitlin Clark is Magic when it comes to personality and how that whole rivalry came together. So, you being a long time player, a fan of the game, what is your personal feelings on how you see? Do you think that it doesn't matter how it got to this point of her putting WNBA really on the global map, or do you feel like that the other players and stuff were slighted because of the media or whatever the case may be?
I think they were slighted. We know what it is when it comes to sports and just in general when we know as far as who get the exposure. We know that Black women have been like the majority of the WNBA, and so sometimes when that is the case, they might not get that exposure as the Caitlin Clarks. And I think she brought a different set of fans that kind of gave her a different kind of backing, and so it really exposed different things about just how sports are taken. But however it is, it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that we know what it is, but at the same time, we can't dwell on that, how it got to that point. We have to continue to move forward and ride the wave. Because a lot of people now, like, if it wasn't for that way, Aja Wilson wouldn't have been able to get that shoe deal. And a lot of other women, the deals that they're getting. And so I know when it comes like that, it's just kind of like a slap in the face. But at the same time, you got to ride the wave and fit in where you get in where you fit in when it comes to that and when it comes to making that money. And so,
okay, so in other words, me and Jacob was both right. Okay, but
you gotta get in where you fit in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I appreciate you coming on.
Look at Jacob. Jacob saying, ho.
But listen, man, whoever looked at our basketball without Angela Reese doing this right here, pointing at that ring to Caitlin Clark, we wouldn't even know who Caitlin Clark was. To be honest with you, did you know about our women's basketball? No, I didn't, and I watch basketball. I watch girls baskall.
Yeah, so, you would see it, but I think like when she started setting those records, it put them on the map. Because she was having like them 50-point games. She might even had a 60-point game, and she started breaking some scoring records, and that's gonna put anybody on the map. It's gonna put your university on the map, and they really started playing some great basketball together. And she was shooting that thing, just pulling from just over half
See,
court.
once again, Jacob, just take the win. Jacob, take the win. She said we both was right. Take the win.
Both of y'all right out, please.
Exactly, take the win, because that's what I told Jacob. I said,
I'm
Jacob,
not
for a
saying that
diehard, I said for a diehard fan, I get what you're saying. But for a casual fan like myself, who's in and out, I didn't really wasn't paying attention until Caitlin Clark. I said, so I get what he's saying, but we both right. You know what I'm saying? On both spectrums.
But
So
man,
just take the win, take the tie.
white people ain't had a great white hope since Rebecca Lobo. So the media pushed that.
Anyway, before we get out of here, shout out to HQ, shout out to 810 Studios, our partners, 168 Radio, our radio station. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to our page, 95 South Network, because all these episodes that we record go on all those platforms. So y'all basically just support everything that we do, because it helps the people like Coach Chiles to be seen and her program to be noticed. And that's what this is all about, for these programs to be able to have more visual, more eyeballs on them. Because like you said, a lot of time we pay attention to the men's basketball, but we don't pay attention to the ladies and what they're doing, and they're winning championships and doing great things, and we overlook them. You know what I mean? Because to be honest with you, Coach Child should already be at one of these major schools somewhere, you know, with her accolades. I'm just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? No offense to Greenwood High School. I'm just saying she should already be on the college level. That's just what I'm saying. I ain't saying she said that. That's my opinion.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I'm gonna make a phone call to a good friend of mine that's the head coach at Firm University, Pierre Curtis.
I know Pierre.
Well,
Pierre.
You tell Pierre Curtis you know Coach Goins, and tell him I'm gonna be calling him on behalf of Coach Chiles.
Okay, well, speaking into existence, make some phone calls. It's all a part of God's plan.
Hey.
It will work out how it's supposed to, and I appreciate
you know what happened? She getting all this love. Greenwood might have to give her a raise going into the season.
It's NIL, baby. NIL for coaches.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
But I appreciate you, Coach Child. If you got any social medias or anything you want to shout out before we get out of here?
Let me pull up mine. I don't know it right out, but I'm gonna pull it up. Let's see. Let me pull up my
website to the website to the program, all that kind of good stuff too.
Okay. Well, we got Greenwood Lady Eagles _ B-ball. So that is GWD Lady Eagles _ B-ball. That is our X account there. Also my account on X is at Coach Chiles there, so you can follow us there. And then on Facebook, let me pull up my Facebook account for our girls account. It is going to be Greenwood High School Girls Basketball. So those are some outlets, some platforms that you guys can follow us on. And of course at Greenwood High School during the season, please come out, check our girls out. We love the support. We're gonna be trying to make another state run this year. So all the support we can get, we want. Thank you guys so much. It's been a privilege and an honor to be on with you guys.
Amen.
And just thank you so much for having me again. This is my second time on your guys' show. And so, I do appreciate the invite. Okay,
no problem. We're going to have you back. I know it's been a while. I said, Jake said, we had her on here before. I said, Jake, I kind of remember, but I said, I ain't going to lie, I'm bad with names. I remember the face. When I see the face, I'll be like, oh, okay. And I do remember, I said, but we interviewed so many people, but we got to have you on more often, so we can't be strangers like this. So I'm getting old. I don't want to forget. I might forget what I just said 10 seconds from now. But hey, we definitely gonna have you back more often, and definitely gonna get out to one of these games, in South Carolina, hopefully this season or whatever. But I appreciate you coming on, giving us a time. I know you're a very busy lady, and just God bless everybody, and everybody have a great and wonderful weekend.
Peace.
Happy Father's Day,
Peace.